going after Trump over that as if Donald Trump was in some way trying to praise Hezbollah or Hamas. Like, stop. Give me a break. And enough. Don't insult my intelligence here. 855-839-1210 on Twitter at Rich Zioli. Speaking of that, here is, let me share with you this other clip here. I'm going to talk a little bit to our friend Liz Wolfe from Reason.com, but I want to play for you this Cornell University professor named Russell Rickford, who was speaking about the Hamas terror attacks. In just a minute, I'm going to play you what he said so that you can hear this. But before I do that, it's a good night for us tonight. It's Tuesday night. The weather's looking good, and the Phils are going to take the field 8:07 p.m. So 8:07 p.m. tonight, we will be first pitch. And I already see a sea of red, so let me turn to the other side with my guys, my men, Big Dan and Anthony DiRenzo.
Hey,
what's up, guys?
Rich. How you doing, man? We are doing fantastic after a nice trip in traffic. It is very busy down here. So if you're heading down to the ballpark, there's so much going on, Rich. So just real quick, a quick rundown. 6 o'clock, Flyers home opener. 8 o'clock, Germany takes on Mexico over at the Link. And then 8:06, you have right here the Phillies. The Phillies playing the Diamondbacks in Game 2, Rich. There's so much camaraderie down here, and there's so many people down here already, man. It's unbelievable.
I love it, Dan. I love it. All right, so let's talk first of all about last night's game. DiRenzo, you were wrong, and I was right.
We were both kind of right. Bryce got his birthday home run. I predicted that.
Everybody predicted that. 100% of people predicted that Bryce would get his birthday home run. That's not what we're talking about.
I'm surprised Cassie got a 5th in 4 games. That's crazy. I mean, he's on an absolute tear right now.
All right, I have witnesses here. Henry and Matt DeSantis and Dan are my witnesses. Did you not say last night, DiRenzo, when I said to you that Nick Castellanos was going to have an amazing night, and you go, oh, no, I think he had a great time last week. I don't think he's going to do so good this time
I didn't
around.
say that.
That's what you said.
Pull the tape. Pull the tape. I said we will need people like Schwarber and Bohm to step up because it's going to be hard for him to maintain.
This is spin what this is insulting my intelligence now. You guys heard it. What did he say yesterday? What did he say?
Rich, that quote you just laid and that impersonation, it's spot on.
Right?
I thought Anthony was saying himself again.
This is collusion. Classic.
I think Nick had his great game last week. He's going to stink this week. He's not going to be able to step up. And he's going to be asleep at the switch. And then when he got up to the plate, what did he do?
Do I sound that depressing? I don't think I sound that depressing on the air.
It's just the attic Anthony voice we've all known since the early days of COVID. Come on.
God. No, but you're right. He proved me wrong. He had a nice dinger, and we all enjoyed it.
Now, how do we feel about Zach Wheeler's pitching last
night? Hold on, Rich. I'll give you what you're fishing for. Great call, man. You predicted that leadoff homer from Schwarber. I know what you're fishing for, man. It was a fantastic call on your end, brother. Bravo.
Thank you. I also, for the record, predicted that Kyle Schwarber would also, first time at the bat, hit a home run, just like he did first game of the National League Championship 1 year ago. Did I not make a prediction?
You're on the money, Rich. And you call yourself not a sports guy. I don't know where that comes from.
Listen, I'm going to WIP morning starting tomorrow, just for the record. It's a big announcement today on the show.
Hey, so youtube.com/@1210WPHT, what we do all the time, or every time there's a Phillies home game, we are out here live, Citizens Bank Way, man. You can tune in, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. You can see Rich, you can see Henry, Matt, me, Anthony, and you can come out here to Citizens Bank Way and hop on the stream with us. So like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that, Rich. And I am psyched, man. But there's one note about tonight's game that I'm going to get in with Anthony on the stream. It's Bohm still hitting at 4. I don't know if I'd make that decision, man. I think Castellanos should be moving up to that number 4 spot. We'll talk about that a little bit more. But Anthony, you too?
I don't know. I don't think you mess with a good thing. They're still winning, and I like Castellanos to kind of give the lineup that pop after you have Harper and Schwarber early on there. So I don't know. I don't necessarily think we have to mess with it yet.
I'm with you there.
Henry agrees with you, but he agrees. You leave it the way it is. You leave out Bohm where he is.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
All right. No, ain't broke, don't fix it. How do you feel Zach Wheeler's pitching was last night? He made the 6 innings. I thought that was pretty good.
I think he did everything he could and more. If he continues to pitch the way he is, on top of what we saw from Nola, and I mean the rest of the entire squad, even Kimbrel last night. I mean, people were concerned about Sir Anthony, but regardless, I don't think we talk about our pitching enough. If they continue this, the Phillies are in a very, very good spot moving forward.
All right, so who's starting pitching tonight?
We have Aaron Nola tonight.
Aaron Nola starting pitching tonight. This is good. I'm very, very happy. Apparently, there's an echo of me on the stream. I just got the word from the corporate show.
Oh, is there? I can fix that right now. Sorry about that.
/ co-host of Kale and Company / executive producer of Kale and Company
I got it.
/ brand manager / program director. The guy's got a lot of titles. / echo.
Echo aficionado.
Yeah, Echo aficionado.
Echo moderator.
Right.
Commenters, let me know if we're good now. We should be good now, please.
So, you
Team
know,
effort.
I like Alec Boehm a lot. I do. He's a nice guy. Met him in public at Kyle Schwarber's neighborhood block party. Really nice guy. His wife's pregnant. You know, he seems like a decent guy. And I think tonight's going to be a good night for him. I got a good feeling about it. But I still got to say, the person who still is stealing the show is Castellano's son. I mean, is that kid not like the man or what?
So cute, man. It's awesome to see him out there, and he's going to have memories the rest of his life, Rich, just watching his father. And imagine if that kid makes it onto a baseball field one day, the stories that they're going to be told. It's an amazing story to see.
Well, and to those points, Rich, I know you were here in 08 when the Phillies won it, and I don't want to take anything away from that team. That's my childhood team. But from Castellanos and his son to just the camaraderie you see in this locker room and how united and hungry this Phillies team is, like I really do feel like this is almost like it's the most embodiment Phillies team I feel like I've ever seen. They really do embody the city, and they have that passion and energy we always kind of demand.
I got distracted by a beautiful woman in overalls who just walked by. What's with the overalls? For people that don't know, what's with the overalls?
Great. They're great. It's a new. I guess there's this new company called Fuco doing them. They've been sending them out. I know some of our WIP hosts got them, and they've been walking around just kind of showing everyone you can buy them at the team store. And ever since, I don't know, what was it?
After the wild card, right?
Yeah. Well, they started selling them like a month or two before that, and they just took off once the wild card round got here.
Who started wearing overalls and it became a thing is my question.
Yeah.
First, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it. I guess I like
I
it.
would wear them. I would bring them. I want a pair. Why not?
I'd wear them.
Would you rock them in the attic, Anthony? You'd rock the overalls?
I'll wear them to work. I'll bring them into work. Why not?
All right. So then we got because I know that yesterday you guys were talking at the end of the show, and I turned it over to you, which I'm going to do again today at the end of this show. You were talking about some Vogue article about the Phillies fashion or something, right?
Yeah, that actually came up. They made Vogue, and they were pretty much breaking down the trend of loving slicking back their hair and the not shying away from jewelry and their embracing of
Bryce
gender
Harper, who leads in
neutral.
all things, has ushered in an era of unprecedented flair.
Yeah, with gender neutral overalls and everything. So we made Vogue. So I think that's a good sign. The Phillies are just totally mainstream, and they even mentioned Jack Fritz. That man's getting mentioned in literally everything now, ever since the whole Trey Turner stuff.
Well, let me ask you this question, too, and this is an important point about last night's game, since we talked about Kyle Schwarber. He came alive last night, and he needed to, and as I predicted he would. By the way, for the record, I want to say this right now, and you guys are my witnesses, and everybody knows this. Do we all agree at the start of the season that the Phillies, they stunk, right? We all agree with this?
Yeah.
Yeah, they stunk, right? No, just yes. Just say yes. I'm not looking at debate. Just say yes.
Yes.
This is what they do I didn't expect them to stink, though. I knew they'd be in the playoffs. I've been going down the stadium all season long, all right? Oh, my God.
It's like the morning show all over.
It really is. It's like, I just wanted you to just say, yes, they stunk. Because my point is, if you guys remember, is the only Army did a road trip to see the Phillies take on the Nats with fans of Philly. Do you remember that?
This is what you're making it all about you.
100%.
I forgot. So that's what,
I'm making it all.
It is like the morning show all over
I'm making it all about the Talk Radio 1210 WPHD audience, DiRenzo. The Phillies were stinking until we went to see the Phillies take on the Nats in D.C. We took, 4 busloads of fans down there. And ever since then, they have been winning, and now we're looking towards the World Series. I mean, I'm just saying. Power of the
So
Zeoli
Jack
Army.
Fritz is
Power
getting a
Talk
lot of
Radio
credit for this.
1210.
Yeah,
Jack's getting a lot of credit for the turnaround. He's actually in these like locker room, the clubhouse for these celebrations. I think Rich Zeoli should be in the clubhouse for these celebrations.
Yeah, it's a good point. We haven't even thought about this, but the Rich Zeoli factor is that more impactful than the Jack Fritz standing ovation factor. We need to put that. We need to tell WIP. Yeah, we need to get this poll started and get our listeners.
Here, guys, turn on your camera in your studio for a second, if you could, just real quick for me. Where Matt DeSantis and Henry are. You see that big face right there behind? That should be in the Phillies locker room right now. They should all. They should all be thanking me for bringing 4 busloads of Zeoli Army fans down there to turn it around for them. I'm just saying for the record, you know.
Give him a ring. Give this guy a ring.
Trey Turner's obviously become a fan favorite, and what I love about Trey Turner is that obviously he was having a bad season until the Zeoli Army turned it around for him, and then he got a standing ovation. Obviously, they people love him now. Seems like a good guy,
Zeoli.
Right? And Talk Radio 1210 WPHG. I don't want to act like we didn't have something to do with this. Trey Turner is doing really well in the postseason. Really well, doing great.
Yeah, he's doing fantastically, man. It's really awesome to see a turnaround. You know what? Every night for these games, to get Maisie even more interested, I don't know if Bridget is, but Maisie, the way to get her interested is if I put a financial stake in it. So I've been making like parlays, and one of those bets I've been making is Trey Turner to get 2+ hits, and oftentimes he comes through for me, man. He's been on fire. And I got to attribute it fully to none other than Richard Zeoli himself. You know,
problem.
Guy knows how to make some contact.
Yeah,
he always. I think that's why we signed Trey Turner, is because we did need a guy that consistent. And to Rich's point, I mean that's why a big part of why the Phillies struggled early.
How awesome is it to actually have a time in the lineup where you just know once Turner comes up there, Turner and Harper, there's a heck of a chance that we might get some points on the board.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing to see.
Well, and with Harper, you're always looking for power. So to have kind of that contact guy like Turner, it's exactly what the Phillies were looking for, and it's good that it's finally working out.
I got a text from somebody who just said, overalls are all the rage in Quakertown where Anthony grew up. That's from your father, Dave DiRenzo. Who said, Quakertown is where the overalls are really, they all come from. That's the thing?
He's listening to the show. He better be selling it.
Yeah.
So back to that Vogue article, that's something they wrote about. Is the quote gender-neutral overalls that the boys love so much.
There's nothing gender-neutral about it. All right, listen, I'll check in with you guys again in a few minutes, but before I let you go, I just want to know, what activities do they have for the kids tonight, Big Dan?
A carnival wheel, a fantastic carnival wheel.
It's not a carnival wheel. It's not a carnival wheel.
It's a Ferris wheel.
And then they have some bungee, like I don't know, rubber band kind of jumping thing.
It's a trampoline.
And then some kind of blow-up house where you can jump on. It's the jump house. Is that what they're called?
Jump house.
By the way, my prediction is Game 5 of the World Series is when Big Dan will finally call it a Ferris wheel and not a carnival wheel. That's my other prediction I'm making tonight.
It might be a good luck for him saying carnival wheel. We keep winning, so maybe we'll just keep doing it.
All right, well, tune in on YouTube. Watch these guys live. They're down at the ballpark. Join them down there at Citizens Bank Parkway. It's going to be a lot of fun tonight. It's going to be a great game. I'll check in with you gentlemen in a few. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, good stuff. 855-839-1210 is the number. President Biden is heading to Israel with this Gaza invasion imminent. That is the breaking news. And I'm going to talk to Liz Wolfe from Reason.com a little bit later in the show. But I just want to play this clip for you because this Cornell University professor, Russell Rickford, speaking about Hamas. And now, we have talked about cancel culture a lot on this show over the years. And here's the thing. If you're in college and you misgender somebody, they'll throw you off campus. They'll shut you down. They'll shut down clubs. They will share with it. But if you're a professor and you stand up there and you praise Hamas, you actually will get tenure. You get a promotion. Colleges right now in America are realizing that they have now reaped what they sowed. They allowed no diversity of thought. They were all about diversity, but not diversity of thought. And so this hatred of Israel was stewing on college campuses. But they actually shut down pro-Israel groups on campus. So they've allowed this to fester, and now they're in this point where they've gone so far woke. And woke, let's face it, woke is the people that are behind saying things like this, whether it's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, whether it's this kook professor. Woke are the people saying this stuff. And now these colleges are turning around and realizing, wow, our alumni, our donors, they hate us now for this. This is a terrible look for us. We look like we have a bunch of anti-Semites at our college. And what's worse is we look like we have a bunch of anti-Semites who are cheering on terrorists at our colleges. Wilfred Riley, who's a college professor, made this great analogy. He said, imagine it like this. Imagine if you had people on college campuses who were out there actively chanting for the KKK. And you had college professors out there who were cheering on the Klan. Think about that for a moment. Think about how that'd be tolerated. And the problem that I have with these college campuses is they have had the speech codes. They have kicked kids off campus for what they've said. Most college students today believe that there should be limits on the First Amendment, an overwhelming majority of them, limits on the First Amendment. And then you have stuff like this happening on college campuses. Cut number 4. DeSantis, yeah, you had a 10-minute build-up to be able to play this clip.
That was Henry's fault.
It was exhilarating. It was energizing. If they weren't exhilarated by this challenge to the monopoly of violence, by this shifting of the balance of power, then they would not be human. I was exhilarated.
It's exhilarating. He's calling the violence exhilarating. I'm sorry. I just have to respond to Mama Zioli for a second. Mama Zioli just texted me and said, sorry to bother you. Is there something wrong with the oven? It's not getting hot. Can I call my mother so I can explain this to her? Is that possible?
Call her live on air.
Yeah, I
just
might
have
need to explain this to her.
Let her know she's going to be on air before she's actually on air.
I don't know how else I can do this to Mama Zioli without... let's give her number out over the air. So it's...
No, don't do that.
Don't
You've
do
already
that?
done that one time.
All right. Well, let's see if we can get my mother on. I need to help her turn the oven on. Bridget's at a work thing tonight, so...
Can you give her the hotline number?
Yeah, I'll tell her to call the show. Call the show, and then she can go, what's the number? You listen every day, but I'm going to say call the show, and I will explain it to you. Let's see, on the air. Explain it to you. Okay? Let's see if she does that. What do you think? What are the odds that she'll call the show?
I hope high.
I hope so, too. Let's see. I'll see if my mother will actually do this. Sorry to bother you, baby. I know you're working, but I don't know how to get the oven hot. It's not turning on. Sorry to bother you. I know you're in the middle of a monologue about Hamas and terrorism and the speaker fight for the United States Congress, but I need to know how to get the oven hot.
Maybe your oven's broken.
The oven is not broken.
It could be.
DeSantis, it's a Bertazzoni. It's a beast from Italy itself. It does not break, okay? It does not
could
break.
Be. I feel like Mama Zioli would have figured it out if it wasn't broken.
You know, you want to be on Team Mama Zioli, that's fine. You suck up. You're such a suck up.
Everyone's on Team Mama Zioli.
Unbelievable. All right, listen, we got a lot to talk about, including how to fix my oven. No way, don't you dare. We might have to call her. Oh, be careful, baby.
Right
Is she calling in? Is that her? Let's see. Somebody's calling. Maybe it's Mama Zioli. Let's see. See if it is her, in fact. See if I can explain it to my mother on how to use my oven, which she's used for, we've had it now for 2 years. 2 years she's had this oven, and every time this is the same conversation that I have with her. Is it her? Okay, it's good. Let's see if I can go to my mother here. I don't see her on the screen, though. Where is she? Oh, there she goes. Mom, is this you?
It is me.
Hi, Mom. How you doing?
I'm doing good, but I can't turn your oven on.
What do you mean you can't turn my oven on?
It doesn't go up. It doesn't get hotter.
It doesn't get hotter. I don't. What does that mean?
Buy American.
Buy American, Rich.
It's an Italian.
It doesn't get hotter
It's the
than
oven of
what
my
it is.
people. It's our people, Mom, Dad. It's our people. Listen to me. Listen. You got to hold the thing in. You see the knob where you turn it on? You got to push that in and hold it for about 7-8 seconds. Okay, so the pilot lights, and then you turn it, and then the oven will turn on. Let's try that. Go ahead.
Okay.
Push it in.
All right, so we put.
Now be careful, baby.
On off.
Be careful, baby. Go ahead.
Turn it on off. Okay. Push it in.
Push it in. Hold it for a few seconds. Hold it for like 5-6 seconds.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh. It's clicking, but it ain't turning on.
No, it's clicking, and then turn it after it clicks for a few seconds, and then turn it, and then the oven will light.
No. That's not for up there, Patrick.
Don't let Patrick do
honey.
it. Keep the
No.
children away from the oven, Mom. Just keep why don't you just order pizza and save everybody a whole lot of trouble here?
I bought Rayo's pizza. Leave me alone. Why can't you buy an American oven?
I just told you why. I bought the oven of our people, a Bertazzoni. It's a beaubeautiful range
Oh
and
my
it works
God.
fine.
And it doesn't ever work. All right, now turn it. Now that you heard that, turn it.
You believe this? They can't get the oven on. You believe this?
It sounds like it's broken.
DeSantis, don't be a suck up. Don't kiss up to my mother and my father.
I think she's
Thank
right.
you very much. Thank you.
This is like, how do you set the VCR light? This is what this is. Did you get it to
All right.
I hear my dad in the background yelling, it's not working.
Buy American, Rich.
Oh, okay, I'll buy American, Mom. I heard you. I heard you say that, but most American things now these days are made in China. So I bought something made in Italy.
It ain't working.
Listen to him yelling. You hear him
All right.
yelling back there? All right. Listen, buy pizza on me tonight, okay? It's on me. I'll pay you back. All right?
Okay, go back. Goodbye.
Okay? Thank you, Mom. All right, I love you. Bye. She just hangs up. She's hung up on. I didn't hang up on my mother, by the way. Don't accuse me of that. I did not do
She
that.
did hang up, yeah.
Mama Zioli did it. You witnessed that, right? She just
Yes.
hung up the phone.
Yes.
She didn't say I love you back either.
No. Yeah, and you know what? Wait, where's that clip, Henry, of her from South Carolina? Do you have that? Do you have the other clip I'm talking about? Before you play it, this is what's going to happen in 5 more seconds if she holds the oven in place too long.
I think they're blowing it up.
That's my fear, is that my kitchen is going to blow up right now. Do you understand? That's my fear.
Oh, be careful, baby.
That's what I'm saying. And keep my kids away from the oven, Mama Zioli, okay, please? All right, 855-839-1210 is the number if you want to weigh in today. We're covering the speaker fight. We're covering the race for Jim Jordan. Hopefully he gets there. And I want to tell you, if you've been involved in an accident, you need a lawyer to help you maximize your recovery and get the fair value of your case. Don't assume the insurance companies are going to take care of you and value your case fairly. Insurance companies are big businesses and they are concerned with one bottom line, and that is their bottom line. So you need a guy who's going to fight for you, a guy who's going to go to the mattresses for you, as we say, my people. That's Tom Skopanich. You know, for over 25 years, he's been fighting to make sure that people get what they deserve and they maximize their settlement. And he's there for you on either side of the river, New Jersey or Pennsylvania. So just reach out to him today. Tom Skopanich. Go to scopelawyer.com, SCOPE lawyer.com, or call him at 215-624-2211. 215-624-2211. He's great. And, you know, prior to starting his own legal practice, he used to work for and on behalf of the insurance companies. So you see, he's got the inside information. He knows their strategies. He knows their tactics, and he knows how to put those strategies and tactics to work for you. So today, make the call. Tom Skopanich, and get what you deserve. scopelawyer.com.
And welcome back to the ballpark. Dan Borowski here of The Other Side and the Dom Giordano program with Anthony DiRenzo of The Other Side and Nick Kale, Dawn Stensland. Great to have you all in the chat here. It's awesome to see this kind of representation. Jimmy, what's up, man? He says, Anthony, you answer this one. I think this got to be a joke question. You can't be this out of touch, Jimmy. Come on. He says, I have a question. Who is the person that Kale and company can't stop talking about? Somebody who dates Taylor Swift? See, Jimmy, you do it, man. You're the one triggering the conversation about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, my girlfriend is a big Taylor Swift fan, so she'd be honored to hear that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And is she gonna hop on?
Yeah, they're saying that I have like the most luxurious life of anyone that's ever worked in radio because I went to the Eagles Jets loss and I've been at the Phillies games.
You do.
I do have a pretty good life.
What's the secret here? I mean, how are you getting into all these things?
I don't know. You got to just hang out with some of the sales guys a little bit more, and then you sneak your way into some of these things. But
so if there's any kind of issues with this, it's a team effort here, guys. It's very casual. The Other Side, just let me know if you're having any sound issues, and I could probably fix that pretty quickly. Tickets. I'm gonna pull up the price of tickets. Do you know how much they are right now? I think it's like $240.
last night, I think
260.
it got down to around 200 2 hours before game time, and then they actually shot up a bit. I think they went back up to around 300.
So I'm going to piss you off, and I'm going to piss off a lot of people here. So right now, Game Time has it at $260. Guess how much tickets are at Diamondback Stadium? or whatever their stadium's called.
Oh God, it has to be. You could probably get upper level for $50 each.
$36. $36, and for the stream, here's a wait. Where's my camera? There's proof. You can see the price right there. So I'm
That's
really
nuts.
tempted to.
Yeah, just get a flight.
or
Get the
just
hell
drive
out of
out
here.
there.
Yeah.
Maybe if you leave after the game today,
Yeah,
you can
let's
drive
make
out
it.
there,
Yeah,
make it.
yeah. Why not? Let's take a giant bus. Let's get a. He was talking about the Rich Zioli bus tour. Let's get another bus. Colin, let's all go. Let's all bring us down there. We'll bring a remote access. Whatever.
Tickets are
Let's do
cheap.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, a bus tour that doesn't cover the tickets.
Yeah.
Sounds like a fantastic idea. Very interactive here. If you want to chat, if you have any comments, I'm sorry, feel free to put them up in chat. Or if you want to head down, well, good luck. It's effing miserable getting down here. I took 95. 95 was backed
honestly,
up all the way
park
to
in like
Port
Center
Richmond.
City or something, and then take SEPTA. It's
It's
a
free,
mess.
right?
Yeah,
SEPTA's
it's free.
free?
SEPTA is free all night. If you're trying to get down here, if parking is frustrating you, you can park near any of the SEPTA stations. Get free back and forth, at least for Subway. So,
The sandwiches?
no. Yeah, no. The Subway line.
All right, so tonight, who's the player? I'll go through at some point during one of Rich's breaks a parlay that I posted up on Dom's page. It's my Dan Time parlay, and I'll get your thoughts on that. But I've been betting a lot of anytime hitters. That's like one of my favorite things to bet on the same game parlays. Who's the sure thing tonight?
It's a good question. It's so hard with this lineup, but I think I'm going to end up going with Schwarber here again. I could see him coming out again hot, and he has kind of some progress to make up here in the playoff. He finally did get that big play yesterday. I could see him doing it again and kind of building off that momentum. So I don't know. I'm sure Harper's going to be the highest odds again, but I would think that Harper, Turner, Schwarber are the top three still either way. But I also I think if you're looking a little deeper in the lineup, Brandon Marsh. He's been quiet lately as well.
That's a great call.
Yeah.
Because the odds are good on Bohm. Obviously, the guy hasn't been hitting at all, but he's the kind of guy that you would think would break his slump eventually. He's not going to play the rest of the playoffs playing like this, right?
I'd probably take Bohm to have 2 or more bases, something like that. I'd pick. I'm worried about a home run from Bohm right now.
This is an interesting one I want to bring up. Ann writes in Harper, and Harper is one that I do have in my bet, but a lot of people are staying away from betting Harper tonight out of the fear that he's not going to get a chance to hit the ball. They're just going to walk him every time he comes to the bat or comes to bat.
They kind of did walk him every time last night after he.
So I'll give you 2 different bets: anytime home run and an anytime hit for Bryce Harper. You doing either?
I mean, you still have to pitch to the guy to an extent. They're not going to just walk. It's playoff baseball. Are you really going to just give us a free base runner every time?
The thing is, though, Bohm is still hitting behind Harper. So strategically, if you can pitch around Harper and face off against Bohm, it might be beneficial for them to do so.
Yeah, but I think the lineup's good enough that we'll take one out there and it's fine.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what we saw yesterday, essentially.
All right, so Rich is coming back now. Let's head back to the Zioli show. As you know by now, Otherside checks in during the breaks before Phillies games out here live from Citizens Bank Way. So tune in. We love to see you. And feel free to drop some comments, and we'll address them next time we're around. Talk to you in a sec.
Mama Zioli got the oven on. She just texted me and said, "Okay, funny man, it's on, and I love you very much." So the good news is the story has a happy ending. My children will eat. Mama Zioli got the oven on. So congratulations. Well done. Thank you for all your prayers and support. Woo! I really do appreciate it. This was a tough one. Now, Chuck, first of all, the speaker vote has been canceled for tonight. That's the breaking news. It just was announced a few moments ago. And actually, I want to thank our buddy who has one of the absolute best restaurants in all the Jersey Shore. Of course, it's where he hosts Dom Giordano. I'm talking about Johnny Z, who's the owner of Mulligan's Shore Bar down in North Wildwood. He just texted me, there will not be another floor vote for speaker tonight. Jordan plans to try again tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Here is Congressman Byron Donalds of Florida. I tell you, Byron Donalds is a great guy. I got to hang out with him and his mother, speaking of moms, together in New York over the summer when Jimmy Fallon invited me up. He was hosting Fox Saturday night. And Byron Donalds was one of his guests, and Byron Donalds' mother was there. She lives in the Bronx, and we all hung out in the green room. And I got to tell you, she was fantastic. She was so sweet. He was a super nice guy. I think Byron Donalds, B-Dog, as they call him, is fantastic. He's a great guy. He's a fighter. He's a conservative. And he is absolutely backing Jim Jordan for Speaker. This is what he said. Take a listen.
I think that what we should do right now is recess for a little bit, give Jim Jordan an opportunity to talk to these members who have voted for other people, and then let's see where we go from there. Look, I think us coming together and finding a speaker and electing that person is very, very possible. I support Jim Jordan. That is the place I'm going to remain. But we need to make sure that we give him the opportunity to bring those votes together. I think he can do that.
I agree. I think he can do that as well, and I hope he can do that, and I'm glad that Byron Donalds has said that. Now, on the Senate side of things, Chuck Schumer is one of – before I get to that, who's the other guy, Matt, you said you got a clip of?
Yeah, so this is Bill Hozenga. He's a Republican representative from Michigan. This is him on Capitol Hill speaking with reporters just a few minutes ago.
Okay.
Just wanted to get your reaction to Jordan having 20 Republicans vote against him at this point.
In this atmosphere, I'm not sure anybody could expect anyone to get 217 votes right now. So Jim now knows who he's got to really go talk to. And I've heard different things. I've heard that he may lose some votes. I've heard he's also going to gain some votes, that a few of these folks needed to stick a protest stake in the ground, and that they're very gettable after that. You look at 4 people sort of off voting for one-off folks. I know my friends from New York voting for my former friend. He's still my friend, but my former colleague, Lee Zeldin. I'm not sure that that's a serious long-term position to hold.
Look, I'm gonna read you a quote from Michael Seifert on Twitter, and I think this says exactly what I've been saying the entire day. What I said yesterday, what I said last week. The conservative base wants Jim Jordan for Speaker. Every conservative organization wants Jim Jordan for Speaker. Pretty much every conservative voter wants Jim Jordan for Speaker. So naturally, Republicans are refusing to give us Speaker Jim Jordan. I think that is very, very well said. The Republican establishment, once again, the uniparty, doing what they do best, because they know that Jim Jordan is not just going to give them whatever they want when it comes to the endless Ukraine funding, their wars, their perpetual wars. He's not going to just hand it over. He's going to make them vote on it. He's not going to just package it into a continuing resolution. Jim Jordan is not going to let them hide behind an omnibus bill. Jim Jordan is going to make sure that there's an up or down vote on funding for Ukraine, that there's a debate, and so that every single Republican out there knows exactly how their member of Congress voted, and they can't go back to their district and pretend like, oh, I didn't really mean to vote for Ukraine funding. You have to understand, I was just voting to keep the government open. I just didn't want to see our brave men and women in uniform go without a paycheck. And all the lies that these people tell over and over and over again, that's such a crock. And you know it and I know it. And that's what they do. They hide these things. They package these things in these big omnibus bills like Ukraine funding, which does not belong in a continuing resolution to keep the government open. That is something that Congress needs to debate on its own, standalone, on its own, up or down vote, whether or not we're going to continue to fund this war in Ukraine, which could last for the rest of our lifetime. It seriously could. It could last forever. My kids could be paying for this. I mean, literally paying for this, as in with their taxpayer dollars when they wind up getting jobs. So what these people do, what these cowards do, is they package this stuff into these CRs and these omnibus bills, and these dopes go home and they think we're stupid, and they go, oh, yeah, well, I didn't want to vote for Ukraine funding, but our hardworking, brave men and women in uniform, they had to get their paychecks, and so I had to go along with it. As if anybody really believes that our hardworking, brave men and women in uniform wouldn't get their paychecks, wouldn't get back pay, that they couldn't put in something in there to make sure that the military got paid. I'm so sick of the lies of these people. I am so sick of how the uniparty runs this country. I am so sick of how they all are out there looking for their own, to cover their own pocketbook, their own wallets, and pad their already fat asses with more money and more consulting fees and more contracting gigs and lucrative opportunities on boards and lobbyist dollars. I'm sick of it. And Jordan is the guy who's going to stand in their way, and that's why they want to stop him. But look, Thursday night is going to be a great night at Parks Casino, and I'm very, very excited to be there, and I want you to join us for comedy night. It is Joe Conklin's comedy night, and when I saw who's going to be on the stage that night as I'm co-hosting, I was thrilled. And here he is to join me right now, Kevin Downey Jr. My man, what's up, buddy?
OMG, what's going on, man? We're going to have a hoot on Thursday. a hoot, as we say in Michigan.
You're not in Michigan, though. You're in Long Island.
I am. I'm in Long Island now, but we don't say hoot out here, or you'll get punched by a jabroni. So in Michigan, you can say hoot. You can even call it hoot nanny if you're over 65 years old. But we just hipped it down to hoot.
Hey, are you still hosting your radio show?
I am, sir. Every Monday through Friday, 10 to 11 a.m. at linewsradio.com. We mock the Marxists, we clown slap the commies, and we have fun doing it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That's fantastic. I'm so happy to hear that because you know what? They all the commies deserve to be smacked. Let's face it, they do. And they'll cry. They'll cry.
Of course they do. I love these little punks. They're so tough online. And when I see, here's my favorite thing. Downey, if I see you in a MAGA hat, that means you're a Nazi, and I'm going to punch you. And now they're actually defending the actions of modern day Nazis. These are the same clowns.
It's so true, man. It's so true. Are you going to be performing any gender transitions Thursday night? Anything like that? Any magic tricks? Anything we can expect?
Well, I might be fluid by then, which means I could be demigender. I don't even know what demigender means. I'll be honest. There will be no
demigender. Wait. Did you just coin a new word, Kevin? Demigender?
I don't think I coined it, man. I'm going to be honest. I was writing, I write for pjmedia.com, and I was just making fun of the various genders. And I searched how many genders are there, and it went from 81 to 97 to 104. So, and I was like, well, I got to see what these are. And one was demigender. I was like, okay, like they're just making them up now. I'm a hobgoblin. That's what I'm going to be on Thursday. I'm going to be a hobgoblin.
If I could be a demigender, can I be a demigod like Thor or Loki or something?
I think you can, but I think the far left hates that the capital God word. So I'd be careful. They're really going to come out after you if you claim to be a demigod.
That's very, very true. Now the other thing is when you're thinking about these college kids today on campus, these little woke snowflakes, man, they have it easy today. I think too easy. I feel like, and not that we're that old, but we grew up. America had some more challenges. These kids today, I hate to say it like that because I sound like an old timer, but these kids today, Kevin Downey Jr., they got it way too easy, don't you think?
Oh my God, are you kidding me? You know what? If we had been in college and we had said something like, you know what, I kind of agree with eradicating all the Jewish people. I mean, first of all, our parents would have beaten us up, and our grandparents who actually fought the Nazis would have smacked us around a few times. But now, all you got to say is, yeah, I'm cool with all that. And I don't know, I guess you get invited to the cool kid parties. I don't know, but way too easy. These are the kids no one said no to. They've come from nice neighborhoods. Their room is full of participation trophies. And look where it's gotten us.
I just want to say for the record is I just want to defend participation trophies for one reason. And that is that if not for participation trophies, I never would have gotten a trophy my entire life because I have no athletic ability whatsoever. So I just want to point that out.
I'm happy to say growing up in Detroit, I was such a horrible hockey player. They did not give me a trophy, Sam. I am. And here I am now. I'm still on the right side of history.
Now, how do you keep, when you're talking conservative politics, how do you keep it fun? How do you keep, because again, the world is crazy right now. And I think we need people like you. We need people like me, if I can say so myself. We need, because we have to be able to laugh. Otherwise we will literally go insane.
You know what? You just hit a grand slam with that statement, my friend. We have to. And sometimes it's hard. I mean, the news, how do you have a happy, fun, funny anti-commie show when you see what's going on? So there are days when we have to, maybe we don't get to have as much fun as we do. But when you just make fun of these idiots and you mock them, first of all, it makes them insane. They hate that. They hate, and that's how you win. You just mock these jack puddings. And I didn't coin that phrase either, but that's one of my favorite words to call them, jack puddings. That's a real word. Hate to brag. I've been reading lately.
I'm proud of you. Well, you also do write at pjmedia.com. How drunk would you have to be to pick up AOC at a bar? That's my question that I want to ask you.
Ooh. Oh, okay. And now if we're, let's just suggest we have decided we're going to romantically pursue a leftist, I would probably go with Ilhan Omar, just because I hate her so much. And there would be no romance in anything that happens. I'm just a...
I understand.
don't know.
I know where you're going
Okay.
with this, and it's absolutely inappropriate for the radio. I know exactly where you're going with. Everybody knows where you're going with this.
Okay.
It
I'm
involves
walking that tightrope, sir.
a hate blanking, and we're not going there. Kevin Downey Jr.
Okay.
We're not going
Thank
there.
you. Okay, I'm glad you cut me off because I wasn't sure how far I could go. It would take. Now, I don't recommend doing shots of gin, but it would take 4 shots of real old man gin for me to go up to AOC and say, "Hello, would you like to dance?" Whee! Or something like that. I don't even know if I could get it out. I don't know that I could get the word.
Was that a horse joke? Were you making fun of her horse teeth just there?
Yes, I was.
Okay,
Exactly
I thought so. Now, what about being on Long Island and watching? I mean, New York City and watching what's going on in your state. How do you deal with it? Because I mean, I'm in Philly and things are crazy here, but you're like in the capital of craziness right over there.
Okay, here's the drill, and I want people to know that right now on Long Island is blood red, and I don't go into the city anymore because I don't do gigs in the city anymore because I know what they're going to do. I know how it's going to end, so I haven't been into the city, and I love hockey. Even if the Red Wings are playing the Rangers, I am not going. I'll wait till they're out here playing the Islanders. We just avoid it. It's sad. I mean, look at how fast the left gutted these cities of ours. Look at what your guy Krasner is doing. Oh my God. Oh, and when we've got our own knucklehead, Alvin Bragg, just here's what I hate. They allow the criminals to come after you, but if you punch one, well, you're going to the Hooskow. How dare you attack one of their brown shirts? That's the sick part. People go, "Oh, you're just afraid." I go, "No, I'm afraid of defending myself." That's what it's come to.
Let me ask you though. I mean, I really miss Cuomo. I miss the Love Gov because at least when he was governor of New York, you know what I mean. Like you could have he would go on with this 3-hour long press conferences and everything, and yeah, you might touch somebody inappropriate in an elevator, but I feel like things were a little bit better when he was governor of New York.
Oof. You know what? It was funnier without a doubt because he was such a bozo. And he was just so much fun to make fun of. And I happen to know he's living with, I know if he turns on my show, he can hear me. He's within my stick range, as we say in the radio. He's within stick range. So I a couple times a week, I call him Handsy Andy Cuomo. And I love to make fun of him and his brother, who's on, I think his brother's on like a smaller station than I'm on right now. He's on some like news out loud or something no one's ever heard of. Chris Cuomo making the big comeback. Oh my God. As if the world clamors for that guy. Fredo.
Would you say it's the lesser station?
Oh yeah, exactly. Without a doubt.
The lesser Cuomo on the lesser radio station. I'm
Yes,
I'm shocked by that, Kevin Downey Jr.
Man, Thursday's going to be a hoot, buddy. I can't wait.
All right, so what can we expect? Tell us about the comedy you do on stage. What do you do? Tell us your show. Tell us your gig. Tell us why people should come out and see you.
All right, here's the drill. People should come out because it's going to be funny. It's not over the top political because you need a break from that. I'll make fun of them a little bit. I'll make fun of the bad guys a little bit, but it's basically just going to be, jokes about dead hookers and all that sort of fun stuff I learned in Detroit. And Jessica Collazo will be there.
Okay, good. I love Jessica. She's wonderful. She's one of my favorite people, and she still made one of the funniest jokes that I've ever heard in my life about the word Latinx.
She'll probably do that.
I hope she does. Because every time I think about it, I actually start laughing so hard. It's hysterical. Great. I'm glad she's going to be there. Marion Grodin's going to be there. Tickets are just $20 this Thursday night. The tickets include your first drink. Game's on at 5, so we can all hang out and watch the game together. Chickies and Pete's, get some crab fries, then come over and watch a comedy show starting at 8. ParksCasino.com/comedy. You must be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Kevin Downey Jr., I love you, man. I'm excited to see you. I'm excited to hang out with you Thursday night. It's going to be a blast, buddy.
You're the best, my friend. I can't wait. This will be a hoot, and go America.
Go America. Very generic at the night the Phillies are playing. Just go America. Go our team.
You know what? I hope you guys win. 'Cause, no, I'm dead serious. I mean, I'm a Tigers fan, so I'm always bitter. But I hope you guys win because Philly could really use some good news. I see what I mean, the fact that I know Krasner's name, the fact that it's a nationwide story. Like I'm rooting for you guys.
Well, we appreciate that, brother. We appreciate that very much. All right, Kevin Downey Jr., I'll see you Thursday night at Parks Casino, pal.
All right, buddy. Thanks, man. See you then.
You bet. All right. We got a fourth and final hour coming up. And are we just not doing sounders anymore after interviews? Is that it? You just gave up on that?
I choked right there. I was debating whether to do the Grand Hotel one or just the regular, and I wasn't sure.
All right. Well, I did scope.
And then you went anyway.
And
so.
you're telling me to do scope again, but I already
did. You do scope? I got lost.
I literally just did it. So can I do this later?
Sure.
Can I do this later?
Sure.
I can do this later?
Sure.
Okay, great. You're such a kind and benevolent associate producer. You really are. How did I get so lucky? How did I get so lucky? All right, we'll check in with our buddies down at the ballpark in just a few moments, and I'll give you the latest on the speaker fight. And will the crook Robert Menendez be in a secure Senate briefing tomorrow on Israel and Egypt? I have the answer for you straight ahead.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
The Crash Proof Retirement Show will air before and after Penn State football this Saturday. Tune in at 11 a.m., then again right after the game.
And we're back here. I need my phone. Oh, it's stuck on my hat. There it is. I got it now. Look at this professional over here in the radio business. Citizens Bank Way, Dan Borowski of the Other Side with Anthony DiRenzo sitting out here, very much enjoying Rich's show today. It's
that was wow. I mean, don't you? Apparently, Dan is friends with Kevin. Supposedly.
Yeah, so Kevin's a guy that back at the Comedy Stop in Atlantic City, him and Mark Riccadonna, who was on Rich's show a couple days ago, they kind of welcomed me into their little friend group, and it was really nice getting to know those guys, and they gave me the courage to ask Maisie out on a date.
Oh,
yeah, so they've been there since day one. I've kind of fallen out of touch with both of them recently because of Rich having Mark on. I've gotten back in touch with Mark, and it's really nice. But man, Kevin has been killing it. He was on America's Got Talent for a while, and then he kind of reinvented himself. He's always been a conservative leaning individual, but he's really kind of leaned into this conservative act of his, and it is fantastic, man. He's really killing it. He's a hilarious guy. It's awesome to see. It's really cool
it is funny. I think the Jersey, I guess, radio / comment, especially if you're going to say right leaning scene. Yeah, I'm sure it's small. So
yeah,
it's funny. It's funny to
see
a little
my history. Before Philadelphia market, I was in the Atlantic City market, and Atlantic City is a very small town comparatively to Philadelphia, and with that comes relationships that you make. And so I knew people in, everywhere, the casinos, the politicians. Jeff Van Drew got really close with. Jeff actually hosted a couple of shows. He hosted a show while he was serving as a state senator. But yeah, now, and that's actually where I met Dom. Dom was doing fill-ins for Jim Bohannon.
Oh, gotcha.
Live from the station down there at Longport Media, and started talking to Dom and would give him ideas for shows, and then we kind of got close, and he was
that's so cute.
Nice enough to refer me for this job.
That was your blind date before you were together forever.
Yeah,
that's so cute.
Minnie's checking in. What's up, Minnie?
Hello.
Nice to see you again.
How about those Astros, Minnie?
Yeah, right.
Sorry, had to say it.
Let me check on the show real quick.
Had to say
Joe Conklin commercial you're missing right now.
I had some friends down actually at that game. One of my buddies in Texas went, and him and his family are big Rangers fans.
What's the camaraderie down there compared to here? You guys talk about that at all?
It doesn't seem as raucous, which he even admitted to me. But at the same time, he said it definitely seems louder at the Texas Stadium.
FOMO?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. They're not going to admit it, even if he does. He's a Cowboys guy, so he doesn't want to give us anything.
I just really think there's a lot of baseball fans around the country right now that sees that this game is slowly dying in popularity, and then sees a complete invigoration.
Well, we're saving it. Haha, we're saving the game.
We are. But you come here to Philadelphia, it's like a completely different story. Everybody right now, I would argue, they care more about the Phillies than they do the Eagles. Like you listen to WIP today. We're coming off a crappy
is that
loss.
timing? Is that just timing because it's playoffs?
But we
should care about the Phillies more right now.
But right now, Yes, we should. I agree. But right now, you have so many good discussion topics with the Eagles because they're faltering a little bit. They got the Dolphins coming up.
Yeah,
and
we
the Cowboys
finally
after
can
the
complain
Dolphins.
about them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot to talk about, and still Phillies are taking precedent on WIP.
To me, it's harder to talk about the Phillies because we don't have as much to complain about, at least as of right now. Let's cross our fingers that continues. But, yeah.
Oh, we can go right now.
We can hear you. We can hear you. Wait. So we just fumble the bag.
Yo, Henry, we are good if he wants to come to us real quick. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you there. Maybe not. All right, well, I guess we'll just put the Rich back on. Maybe we'll be with you here in a second if he comes to us. Here is the Zioli Show starting right now.
Of talk now on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Rich Zioli.
All right, the question, of course, is will the corrupt Senator Bob Menendez of New Jersey be allowed into a classified briefing regarding Israel and Egypt? Will Jim Jordan get the votes to become Speaker? And will Donald Trump challenge the judge's unconstitutional gag order? And, of course, will the Phils win tonight? Welcome back to the show. Glad you are here today. 855-839-1210 on Twitter at Rich Zioli. It is great to be with you for our fourth and final hour of the show today. But I'll tell you, this college stuff is crazy what's happening on college campuses. And my buddy Liz Wolfe has been tweeting a lot about it. She is an associate editor at Reason.com, my favorite libertarian site. Hello, Liz. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
First of all, I know you're in. You said you're in apartment switching mode. How's all that going?
It's going great. I left hipster Brooklyn and I now live in Queens, so it's definitely an upgrade.
Good, excellent. Get away from the hipsters. Enough with those people. Do they still wear the skinny jeans? Guys should never wear skinny jeans, in my opinion.
Well, I don't even have to worry about that anymore now that I'm a Queens resident, Good times ahead.
That's good. Excellent. You have been pointing out a lot lately of the hypocrisy of what's going on college campuses. I want to play a quick clip. I know you've talked about this. This is this college professor from Cornell University, Professor Russell Rickford, at a pro-Palestine rally on Cornell's campus where he was actually, he was flat out praising the Hamas terror attacks. Cut 4.
It was exhilarating. It was exhilarating. It was energizing. If they weren't exhilarated by this challenge to the monopoly of violence, by this shifting of the balance of power, then they would not be human. I was exhilarated.
All right, Liz Wolfe, he finds it exhilarating. As you pointed out, college campuses lately, if you misgender somebody, they throw you off campus. Professors like this, they give them tenure.
Yeah, my tweet was a little tongue-in-cheek, right? Like, to some degree, I'm parroting the sort of state of acceptable discourse on college campuses. I don't really know of any examples thus far where people have legitimately, been kicked off of campus for misgendering. But my point sort of stands, which is like, when a lot of these college activists have spent, for the better part of a decade talking about microaggressions and saying that they need to shout down different campus speakers, that they need to craft safe spaces and stock them with therapists and coloring books and bubbles in order to prevent college students from hearing ideas that threaten their worldview or ideas they disagree with. I forgive me for being a little frustrated that we've been doing a decade of that. And then now when we have legitimate Hamas apologism and sort of shilling for terrorists, that's just totally fine. That's acceptable all of a sudden. Like, what? What sort of topsy-turvy world are we living in where that's how it is?
You joke about it, but it's true. They had crayons for college kids to be able to deal with their feelings and cuddle. Remember the cuddle thing where you could get a cuddle buddy?
Yeah, it's stunning to me. And I think, we saw so many speakers specifically criticizing third wave feminism, criticizing the Me Too era, criticizing the sort of overreach of Title IX campus sexual assault adjudication policies. We saw speakers who were critical of components of Black Lives Matter and the way that organization has engaged in political action. We've seen speakers, these are all fascinating political topics where there are people of great intellectual strength and of operating in good faith who disagree about these things. But for whatever reason, many of the speakers who would shed light on complexities of all of these topics have historically been shouted down at campuses. To me, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it actually is. It's really coming home to roost here. I mean, so often we have had this problem, and we've talked about this before, where college students today, a majority of them believe there should be limits on the First Amendment. They believe in things like hate speech codes. They believe in limiting speech. So, they'll shut down pro-life student groups. They'll shut down pro-Israel groups. They'll do all these things. And then you turn around and you have this pure and utter hatred that's being spewed on college campuses. And now suddenly people are turning around to colleges and going, how are you going to deal with this problem? And I think it's become a self-fulfilling problem for them because they decided a long time ago that they were not going to be speech neutral. They decided that they were going to decide which speech was okay on their campuses. And had they just remained speech neutral and said, you could say whatever you want, they probably would not be finding themselves in this position right now.
I completely agree with that. And I think it's also worth, for the sake of being consistent, I consider myself a free speech maximalist. So I do think that I would be remiss if I didn't mention that there have been lots and lots of cases of pro-Palestinian speech that has been censored over time. Now, know that that is not the same as pro-Hamas speech. I do think that it is important to draw some of these distinctions here.
I agree.
But there are lots of, ardent Palestine supporters and campus groups that really have been cracked down on and censored by their administrations over time. So I think that it's important, if we actually do care about the principle here, as you were talking about, to say that, we want to cultivate an academic environment where people can really forcefully defend their ideas and talk about them, and where we give really wide berth to allow these types of ideas to be hashed out on college campus. Because frankly, that's what college campuses are for. They're not for you to feel 100% mentally safe all the time. They're for your ideas to be challenged, for you to workshop things, for you to soak up the ideas of people around you. And I just want to give a little shout out to the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, which I think has been incredibly consistent over the years in defending this type of free speech on campuses, even free speech that maybe they personally disagree with. I personally disagree with some of the things that the pro-Palestinian groups have put out there, but I think it's important that I defend their right to say those things.
I do too. And I do also think it's worth drawing a distinction between pro-Palestinian rallies and pro-Hamas rallies and pro-Hamas terrorist rallies. I mean, it'd be like, if a college had an organization where people were advocating violence against any group, I mean, it's okay to say that that's wrong, and there's nothing wrong with coming out and saying that it's wrong. And this is where I worry, because it seems like things get lumped together. I mean, I talked to Wilfred Riley the other day, and he made a great point. He'd be like, if there was a rally on a college campus where they were openly advocating, like the Klan was there, and they were openly advocating lynching black people, I mean, we would say that is wrong. Like, it's not, you should not be out there saying those things.
Yeah, it's very difficult. I mean, this is sort of the origins of like how the ACLU became the organization that they were for a long time. Frankly, I've lost a ton of respect for the ACLU over recent years, but we all know the story of, frankly, a bunch of Jewish lawyers at the ACLU defending the rights of Nazis to march in Skokie, Illinois, many years ago. Nobody really wants to be in that position where they're legally defending Nazis, and you certainly don't want to do that if they are inciting violence. But there are very thorny, difficult to draw lines between what type of speech is permissible and what is actually considered incitement by the courts. And I think the ACLU, at least used to many years ago, grapple with these issues quite seriously. I think today FIRE is doing a lot of grappling with those issues. And frankly, I think we are doing that at reason. But I want to push more people on both the right and the left to take these ideas seriously. Because frankly, if we fail to defend people's speech rights, ultimately, I think that comes around to bite us at some point, because everybody believes something that is deeply unpopular or something that in the future could be criminalized. And so we should be very careful about, not being principled and not being consistent in this. It is important for college students to have the ability to legitimately have it out and engage in these types of debates on campus. It's completely disturbing what we've seen the culture of free speech become over the last 10 years.
Yeah, and I think that FIRE has stepped up where the ACLU has backed out. And the ACLU there's too many cases where the ACLU has said that if somebody's feelings are going to be hurt, if a member of the LGBTQ community is going to be offended by something, then that speech should not be said. So I've also lost tremendous respect for them. I don't think they defend free speech anymore. I think they're much more about their agenda. And I also lost respect for them when they somehow justified a COVID mandate as being good for civil liberties. I mean, I thought that was just insane. But fire has stepped up.
Absurd.
What's that?
That's patently absurd. COVID mandates were huge violations of civil liberties, always and everywhere.
Yeah, a vaccine mandate for. Remember, they wrote that op-ed in I think it was the New York Times, where they justified why a vaccine mandate was good for civil liberties. It was like the most twisted knot I've ever read people try to argue here.
Yeah, I mean, that type of thing is despicable. I think they've really tarnished their reputation many times over in the last few years. But frankly, that just means that the rest of us who legitimately do believe in free speech and protecting civil liberties, it just means, our work is cut out for us. It means that we have to be happy warriors going ahead and make sure we're actually grappling with these tough distinctions between speech and incitement. And it means frequently extending a wide berth of tolerance to our enemies, not just the speech that we like. It involves really engaging with these questions of, what should some of these college administrations do with some of the professors out there saying things that I find really abhorrent about Hamas. It's a very difficult thing to do because you don't want to go after professors and persecute them for their political speech. But at the same time, I keep looking at some of these statements and thinking, why on earth would the Cornell administrators have hired somebody this brain dead in the first place?
Yes, exactly. And what does that say about them in terms of their philosophy of things if they've hired people like this in the first place?
My friend Michael Moynihan, who does the Fifth Column podcast, I was just listening to an episode of the Fifth Column, and he had a great line on there about how he would discourage his daughter from going to Harvard because he'd want her to, actually go to a good school. And frankly, I think that sums it up right there. This idea of why do we still respect a place like Cornell if this is the type of person that they're hiring and this is the type of speech that people are applauding for at rallies? I mean, to me, I don't want my kid to go to Cornell at this point.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I think that's exactly right. And I think also too, a lot of this comes with, and I think the teachers unions push a lot of this stuff too. And I mean, you had a piece on Reason a while ago about this sleeping with a member of the teachers union. And I think you kind of got into that point that was made, the dumb joke that was made by Mike Pence at the debate, which was just cringeworthy. But, I think a lot of the teachers unions out there, again, are also guilty of this because they decide what speech is okay in classrooms. They decide what speech is okay at the grade school level, what books are okay. They decide all these things. They kept parents out of it. There's no school choice. And it becomes one monolithic thought. And I also think that is a major wake-up call here for people. It's the reason why, in the town where I live, I mean, the biggest political battle that's going on right now is not who's running for town council. It's who's running for school board right now.
That makes a ton of sense to me. I mean, I think it's really stunning, frankly. I mean, we were just talking about COVID and vaccine mandates a second ago. I think it's frankly stunning that it wasn't the COVID era and the school closures that really broke teachers' unions. To me, I mean, they did not cover themselves in glory. The lies abounded. We saw this in big cities, the degree to which there's this political capture of elected officials by these teachers' union head honchos, the likes of Randy Weingarten and others. And we saw so much learning loss because children were kept at home for really stunning amounts of time in a way where if we actually looked at, the examples of tons of European countries and saw some of their early results, we could have avoided this, right? Other countries were doing it way better than we were. And I place blame pretty squarely on teachers unions there. But I do think that there is a little bit of upside to all of this. I think whether it's teachers unions or looking at how some of these groups on campus and these, college professors are making total fools of themselves, I think people are beginning to wise up to the fact that we have fostered some really bad environments and created really bad incentives and dynamics. And, it's incumbent on the rest of us to advocate for more school choice, for more speech rights, for more protection of civil liberties, not less.
Yes, 100%. Well said, Liz Wolfe. Liz Wolfe's joining you right now. She's the associate editor at Reason and author of the Reason Roundup morning email newsletter, which you should subscribe to and get. I read it every single morning. No, look, you're right about that fact. I mean, the answer to a speech we don't like is more speech. The answer to, it's like, I laugh about these stupid book bans. I mean, there's not a single book that's banned in America. I don't know how many libertarian authors are actually in public school libraries. I don't know. I don't think you're not going to find Thomas Sowell in a lot of public school libraries. Books are not banned, But yet what we've had, though, is we've had this monolithic control of the books that our children are exposed to. And so for a lot of parents who don't have the ability to send their kids to private school, because I get asked that question all the time. It's, well, Rich, why don't you just send your kids to private school? I don't want to. I want to fight so that for the people that can't afford to send their kids to private school, I want to fight so that they have the ability to have their kids be able to learn lots of different things and not through just the lens that the teachers union wants them to see things through. But, I laugh when they scream about book bans in this country. And I turn around and I say, okay, fine. If you really feel like this book is so critical in your library, and I disagree with you on that, then give me the ability to send my kids to a school that has a book in the library with an author that I may want them to learn the perspective of history from, like a Thomas Sowell, for example.
I completely agree. Reason's editor-in-chief makes a great point very consistently. And she says, look, rich people in this country have school choice already.
Right.
The school choice battles are over whether or not middle class and poor people also have that. This is, frankly, there's a huge class dynamic to this. The fact that it is rich people who are able to pull their kids out of private school and actually send their kids to schools that are in many cases more aligned with their values. That's a wonderful thing. And frankly, all parents should have the ability to do that. If we actually pursued a system of school choice and school vouchers or ESAs, as several states are experimenting with, I think we would have really good results.
I got to ask you, since you're in New York and now you're a Queens girl, your governor in New York, Kathy Hochul, I had to laugh when she came out and she said, look, I love the Statue of Liberty and I believe in what it says, but we're closed and we don't have any room for you. So please don't come here.
Yeah, I mean, Hochul and Mayor Eric Adams have both been dealing with this huge problem, right? There's been a huge influx of migrants, and New York's laws make it such that they are legally obligated to shelter all, people, all newcomers for a certain period of time. And I think that's a very well-intentioned law. It's something that, I am pretty sympathetic to as a very pro-immigration person. But they're also now experiencing a huge strain on social services, right? Like the money has to come from somewhere. And I think they've really backed themselves into a corner here, and the foolishness and impracticality of their policies are really becoming apparent. Chickens are coming home to roost, in other words.
Yeah, exactly. And all these places that had, they were very proud of the fact of saying they were sanctuary cities, and they turn around, they get mad at governors from border states for sending people to them. But at the same time, it's like, why should the people of just the states that border the U.S. border have to deal with the influx here? That doesn't seem very fair to them, right? If everybody's got to bear this, then why should they get some exception because they're geographically hundreds or thousands of miles away from the border?
The way I look at this is that actually this is one of those cases where we could really change federal policy to help alleviate states and cities. And by that, I mean specifically, it's really hard for recent migrants, for these newcomers that are being sheltered in New York City. It's really hard for them to get work authorization. Many times they have to wait for quite some time for, all of their records to clear. But essentially, we're making it so that we're saying, hey, you need to be in this sort of state of temporary vagrancy, as opposed to, in many cases, these people are in pursuit of a better life, and they actually want to go out and make something of themselves, be industrious, escape their circumstances, and provide for their families, whether they're families that have migrated with them or families that they're sending remittances back home to. And I really think the federal government could, in this case, get out of the way and allow work authorization to hit sooner, which would allow these people, instead of sitting on the streets in Midtown Manhattan, be able to actually, go find jobs. There are lots of industries with shortages in New York City right now, and this is something where if only they were allowed to work legally.
It's almost a conspiracy person might say, as if the government wants to expand the welfare state.
I think that that's definitely plausible. I am very much in favor, especially as I pay more attention to, issues with the Federal Reserve and, all of the stuff that's been happening with Jerome Powell and interest rate hikes and all of this. We are in this situation where, for whatever reason, both the left and the right, but frankly, more the left than the right, have been so interested in spending as if the bill never comes due.
Yep.
That's crazy. That's not how it works in any of our personal households with any of our personal budgets. And that's frankly not how it works with the federal government either. So I think we might be in for a time of, significant reckoning, because it's getting more and more expensive to service the national debt. And that's a huge problem. We're all going to be paying for that, younger generations especially.
And I got to say, Liz, and the last thing I want to say is that, when it comes to Ukraine, this idea that we can just pay for this for the rest of our lives in perpetuity, and they don't even debate it, and it's just like, okay, well, here's another, billions of dollars. I mean, at some point, do we not have a conversation about this? Do our elected representatives not have a conversation and actually even draft a budget here with an end game? And so, I mean, and if you suggest that, you're pro Putin. Now I hear Janet Yellen saying, "Oh, we can absolutely afford 2 wars if we need to. So if we need to go to war with Russia, if we continue that forever and ever, and we also need to go to war in Israel, well, we can do that forever and ever." I mean, it's almost like, where does this come from? Where is this money tree in the backyard?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I think they think the money tree is all of us, right?
Yeah.
They think they can raise taxes on all of us for as long as possible, no matter what we earn, frankly, and it will never be a problem. And I think that at some point people, I mean, I've been mad about taxes for a very long time, and it doesn't even matter, how much I get taxed. I'm just sort of in a perpetual state of being grouchy and like tweeting angry things at the IRS, which surely does not help my cause. But I do think more people will become fired up in this exact same way, the more we're taken for granted. I mean, you see this happening in a lot of Scandinavian countries that are erroneously called socialists when in fact they're really not. But you do have issues where sometimes when they hike taxes, like I believe this was happening recently in Norway or Sweden, you have capital flight. You have the, multimillionaires and billionaires who are basically saying, I don't want to live here anymore. I'm taken for granted. Innovation is not actually encouraged. All my money is taxed away. I'm going to, go move to Switzerland.
And they have the money to be able to get out and leave, which is something that we don't, which is another reason why being rich is a huge advantage here.
We can't even leave our damn school systems. It's a big problem.
I know. And a lot of people can't even leave the cities because they can't afford a home in the suburbs right now because the housing market's insane because of what the Federal Reserve has done with interest rates. And there was a home in my neighborhood. It went for $75,000 over asking price, and it sold in about 24 hours. Just a middle-class home. I've never seen it like this before. So a lot of people are stuck. They're stuck, Liz, and it's a damn shame for them. So,
well, I hate to be the obnoxious libertarian here, but once again, libertarian solutions sure would help, and market-based thinking would help because again, we have all of these zoning regulations that in many cases blue cities and states have put in place. And it makes it really, really hard for people to actually build new things. So no kidding, the existing housing supply gets so warped and so expensive. I mean, at a certain point, I think in all of these cases, the bill comes due.
Yes.
People don't like being treated this way over and over again.
And I'm just going to tell you, and this is just between me and you and not for public consumption, I really have a problem with the way the government busts your chops when you're trying to build a house. And I also have a problem with people that need I gotta have a permit if I want to change a toilet. Stay out of give me a break. All right. Stay out of my house. I can deal with it. But that's for another show. Liz Wolfe, always a pleasure. Associate editor, Reason.com, and subscribe to the Reason Roundup morning email newsletter. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you so much.
The Rich Zeoli Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Listen, Cherry Hill, Volvo and Route 70 in Cherry Hill, they do great work for our station, this show. They stand with us, and I am so proud to stand with them. When it comes to buying a car, you have a lot of options out there, obviously. What sets Cherry Hill Volvo apart from every other dealership out there is the fact that they put relationships first. And this is what I mean by that. There's no pressure. Nobody hounds you. Nobody runs after you and tries to shake you down to get you to buy a car. If the car's not right for you, the car's not right for you. That's just how it goes. And I also really believe that you're going to love driving a Volvo if you've never driven one before. They have a plant in South Carolina where they build the S-Class, beautiful, gorgeous sedan. The XC40, which is what I'm driving now, is a great SUV. It's got a ton of room, all the safety features. Bridget drives the XC90, which has the third row to get the kids all around, which I assume Mama Zioli's driving tonight since Bridget's out of town. And I also love the fact that at Cherry Hill Volvo, they strive to get you the best pricing. They have incentives right now that start at $5,000 off and go as high as $11,000 off a new Volvo. And they also have certified pre-owned Volvos, a great lease program as well. So what are you waiting for? Check them out today. Cherry Hill Volvo, the most accessible Volvo dealer to Philly and South Jersey, right across the bridge. Judith, Yosef, and the entire team look forward to meeting you. Because at Cherry Hill Volvo, relationships really do matter. They do matter. And that's the difference. And that's why Judith Krupnick and Yosef Cohen and the entire team there every single day put our station, put their customers and their clients first and foremost. It's why we're broadcasting live from the Cherry Hill Volvo studios. So go see them today, right on Route 70 in Cherry Hill, where relationships matter.
Have you been waiting to buy gold as an investment? Lots of commercials out there, but who can you really trust? I didn't want to make a bad investment, but didn't want to miss the boat either. Sound familiar? Fortunately, I've got great news. If you have an IRA or 401k and want to buy physical gold to diversify your investment,
and we're live at the ballpark again. Dan Borowski here with the Otherside podcast and Anthony DiRenzo. You know me from Krasner Land, Dom Giordano program. Anthony, we know you from Kale, from Dawn Stensland. And if you've been watching the stream, you saw a very pretty sunset here. It's turned out to be a beautiful night here at Citizens Bank Way ahead of the Phillies Game 2 matchup against the Diamondbacks. And how you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling confident after last night, the way that Wheels went out there and pitched against the Diamondbacks. I'm feeling like Nola can do the same. Nola last game, we were saying last round, can Nola do it? Is he capable? I think very much so, and especially behind this home crowd. I'm really excited to see what he brings to the mound tonight.
So I pulled up the pitcher for who we're facing off against, Merrill Kelly. He's 1-0 this postseason. Hasn't had a hit or a run against him, man. Well, he had a hit against him, but no runs against him. 5 strikeouts. You at all concerned about the pitcher?
I would say not necessarily. He kind of laid his own bed earlier today when he said he believes he's prepared for tonight because he doesn't think Citizens Bank Park will be as wild as the World Baseball Classic.
Dude, why
in
would
Miami.
you ever do that to yourself?
Here's this quote. I haven't obviously heard of this place haven't obviously heard this place on the field, but I would say I would be very surprised that if it trumped Venezuela game down in Miami when Trey hit that grand slam. At least baseball wise, I don't think I've ever experienced an atmosphere like that. So I hope this isn't louder than that. And why would you say hope?
Right, like you're just asking for it, man. You're firing up the fans. You're giving billboard material. It's horrible idea on this guy's part. And what's he talking about? The World Baseball Classic down there?
I like the World Baseball Classic as much as the next guy. Exactly. Nobody. Ask even a passionate baseball fan how much of the World Baseball Classic they watched. I don't. You're hard pressed to really find someone who sat down and watched every pitch of the World Baseball Classic. Probably degenerate gamblers were the main people that watched all of the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, it's not something
that's what I would
many
guess.
people are tuning into. Trey Turner, though, really had a great World Baseball Classic, and that's where that story came from.
No, I mean, him and Schwarber. It felt like it was the story of the Phillies. Once again, we are, leading American baseball, literally and figuratively.
So I'm looking here. I'm pulling up a tweet. Well, it's a Reddit post, and where'd that one go? Says, I continue to not understand pitching to playoff Bryce. If there's a base open, he shouldn't even see a pitch. Here it is. This tweet aged well. This comes from Brian Hawk back 2018. Brian Cashman indicated that Bryce Harper isn't a fit for the Yankees. Said the team already has 6 outfielders and that playing Harper at first base isn't realistic.
Yeah, it didn't work out. And I know Bryce Harper was actually asked about this on the Pat McAfee show a few days ago. I think that was last week after the NLDS. And he essentially responded, I grew up a Yankees fan. I used to love the Yankees. But he said he could never envision himself on a team other than the Phillies, and it fits him perfectly. And, he said everything perfectly. And even the frustrated Yankees fan who posed the question to him, he said, you could come over, you could be a Phillies fan if you want. So,
all right, we're going to head back to the Rich Zioli show. It looks like it's coming back now.
Every win, all right here. To get started, download the Odyssey app today. That's AUDACY. And search for WPHT. Available for Philadelphia listeners only.
If you're a business owner with salespeople, how in the world could you say no to this offer? The top 20% of your salespeople close 80% of the business. 80% of all sales are closed after the 5th attempt, and 83% of all salespeople don't even ask for the sale once. Did you know that 90% of all salespeople have never even read one sales book? How many sales are being lost each month simply because your salespeople are not professionally trained how to sell? Hi, this is the world's top sales trainer, Jason Evans. I'm going to give you a free 45-minute video of pure sales training techniques that will increase your company's sales within days, guaranteed. This could double, even triple your company's sales. This video is closing, handling objections, and more. Just call us and leave us a voicemail with your email address, and we'll send you this amazing video for free. Call 800-500-8320. This is how to close from A to Z for any product or service, regardless of industry, whether you sell face-to-face or over the phone. Call 800-500-8320. That's 800-500-8320.
Paid for by Power Sales University. Individual results may vary.
Rich Cioli from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter, on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
I was sleeping with a loaded gun. I was scared of all the things I've done. Yeah, I know I'm not the only one. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright now. I was chasing down a high again, trying to take whatever I could get. But you know I had to pay for it. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright now. I know.
You guys there? You hear me?
Everybody.
We got you loud and clear, Rich.
Beautiful.
Hey, brother. Look at your beautiful face up there on the stream now, too. How you doing, sir?
Look at that. Big Dan and DiRenzo hanging out. The other side with Dan and DiRenzo live at the ballpark. Guys, how we doing?
We're doing fantastic, man. You've had a great show. Talking to your mom about fixing the oven. Maybe some tips for her. Did she ever get that fixed? Is there pizza for the kids tonight or not?
Yes, it says a happy ending, Dan. It was a very happy ending. Mama Zioli texted me, and she just said she got the oven finally to turn on. So the kids will be eating
Let's
tonight.
go.
This is good.
Thank God.
Yes.
Thank God.
Thank
yeah,
you for
and
your thoughts
also
and prayers. Yes.
your interview with Kevin also was something, man. That was a good one.
Hilarious guy, man.
So Kevin Downey Jr. and Mark Cardano are great friends. Mark was on Friday, right? And we got some good people who make us laugh, who stop by the show, which I always enjoy.
Yeah, I was actually saying on the stream, when I was working at the Comedy Stop in Atlantic City, Mark Riccadonna, Kevin Downey Jr., they had a little group of friends, and they were very gracious enough to kind of welcome me in, and we would go out after the comedy show sometimes, and also there was a girl by the name of Maisie, and they gave me the confidence to ask Maisie out on a date, which led to me meeting my wife. So I Kevin Downey Jr., Mark Riccadonna, those guys, even behind the scenes, I'll take you, expose the curtain. Fantastic individuals. Like, it's just so much fun to hang out with them, and just right on point. Everything Kevin was saying, hilarious. And I love the allusion to which progressive congresswoman he might want to be with.
I think it'd be fun to actually sit around with those guys, drink some beer, and talk politics. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And those guys, they both also at some point went overseas, Middle East, did a lot of USO touring and such. So there's the stories that those guys have from the things that they've seen and the people they perform for. It's amazing. And Kevin Downey Jr., I don't know if you know this, but he got pretty far on America's Got Talent.
He did.
Yeah. So it's cool to see him around you now. And man, if I could make it to the show tomorrow, I'd be there.
The Reason.com interview was good too, and I just wanted to mention I'm happy that Henry remembered the liner that time.
He did it. Yeah, Henry nailed it with that. And the song we just came back with is
Money and Fame by Need to Breathe, a.k.a. JT Real Muto's walk-up music.
Boom, right there. Yep. Awesome. All right, I'm gonna hand it over to you guys at about 6:50, but I want to know real quick, starting lineup. Let's get through it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's do it. Leading off, we got Kyle Schwarber, followed by Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, batting third, fourth, Alec Boehm, Bryson Stott after that, JT Real Muto, Nick Castellanos at seventh, Brandon Marsh at eighth, and Johan Rojas to round things out. Just a quick note, Alec Boehm stays there in the fourth slot. A lot of conversation about Nick Castellanos switching there to create a new strategy. Obviously Alec Boehm's having a little bit of a hard time hitting the ball. But nope, Topper did keep it the same, Rich. So we'll see if that strategy holds true again tonight.
Excellent. So you guys are doing a great job, and I enjoyed listening to the two of you yesterday with your thoughts on everything. So I'm looking forward to doing that before we start the show tonight, before we start the game. Obviously, first pitch is at 8:07, so that's good. The crowd looks amazing from what I can see right now on YouTube.com on our live stream here. And the crowd looks massive already.
Yeah, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Crowd has been out here. If you're just tuning in for the first time, Rich, down here in South Philadelphia, 6 o'clock you had the Flyers home opener. 8 o'clock you had a friendly between Mexico and Germany that drew around 50,000 plus over at Lincoln Financial. And then obviously here you have the Phillies taking on the Diamondbacks. Traffic has been nuts, but the crowds too, because of that, have been huge. You've seen some Flyers fans walking around, seen some Mexico, Germany fans as well. Really, really cool environment. I got to say again, if you're listening to us and considering coming down for a game, even if you don't have tickets, there's enough here to have a good time in the evening. Park, have some fun at the food trucks, grab some drinks, and ride that carnival wheel, Rich.
Big Dan with his carnival wheel. All right, guys, we're going to check in with you again. We're going to let you take over in a few minutes, okay? So stay tuned.
Sounds good. Thanks, Rich.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks for everything you're doing down there. Appreciate it. I just want to let you know that Monday night there's going to be a memorial for an event over at FOP Lodge 5 for the fallen police officer, Richard Mendez, who it was just heartbreaking, truly heartbreaking what happened here. And there's going to be a benefit for him. It's Monday, October 23rd at one of my favorite places to hang out, which is FOP Lodge 5 up in the Great Northeast on Caroline Road. Donations are accepted at the door. If you can't make it, you can certainly donate to the memorial account. There'll be draft beer and food, and 100% of the proceeds will support Officer Mendez's family. I be honest with you, I got choked up Friday night after the show. We had a great time in Cape May, but I knew him. I met him at the airport a few times. He was a terrific man, and it was just a heartbreaking situation. I got really choked up Friday night after the show. So anything you can do to help out his family and help out the FOP Lodge 5 will be greatly appreciated. This has been a very, very sad time. These scumbags are still out there. There's still 2 of these cop killer scumbags who are on the streets, and this organized carjacking ring, I believe, and I know that, they're not saying this, but I'm from what I'm reading between the lines here, it's very obvious here. These scumbags are coming from Camden, driving to Philly, and they're jacking cars at the airport, thinking there's going to be less consequences, and they're taking them, and they're taking them probably overseas or something like that. This is a very organized effort, which is why these guys were willing to kill cops. This is not your average, everyday idiot carjacker looking for a joyride. These guys are organized. They were willing to kill 2 Philadelphia police officers. Thank God one survived. But they were willing to kill cops, and that tells you a lot. That tells you a lot about this, I think, criminal organization behind this. And the fact that when they did the press conference yesterday, and you heard this, and they said there are still people who they're looking for out, in the burbs there in Jersey. This is not the first time that people from Camden have come over. So I'm just going to make that point. So Monday night, hope to see you there at the FOP Lodge 5 to help raise money for our friend, fallen hero officer, Richard Mendez. Now, let me move on the Jersey side for a moment to Senator Robert Menendez. No relation, obviously. Senator Menendez is a guy who's been accused of taking a lot of money from some very, very bad people, literally lining his pockets with money, and also taking gold bars and a car and everything else. Now, the issue here is Egypt. And whether or not Menendez, and this is the question that I think everybody needs to ask, did Senator Menendez allow Egypt to continue to abuse people, their human rights record, their abysmal human rights record? Did he cover for Egypt because Egypt gave his buddy the big halal contract and Menendez got the cash? And so as we're talking about now what could potentially be World War III in the Middle East, Egypt plays a big part in all of this. Menendez is the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Think about that for a moment. He is the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. This guy has the access to classified briefings. Do you trust him with that information? I don't. Because I don't think that he's not going to help Egypt out. If there's something there that would hurt Egypt in any way, shape, or form, he's going to make sure they know about it. And this scumbag should not only be out of the Senate, in my opinion, but he absolutely should be off the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. So Senator Chuck Schumer was asked a question in advance of this Because when you're chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, that is such a powerful position. You have access to everything. You have access to all of it. There's nothing that's kept from you. There's an elite number of people in the Senate and the House who have access to all of America's secrets. For the purposes of the continuity of government, also if they need to make decisions and the president needs to consult with members of the Senate and the House. Not every single one does, but there are some that do. The chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee is one of those people. That's Bob Menendez. That's the guy who's now facing prison time for selling out the United States of America and helping Egypt so that he can get rich with gold bars and cash and cars and everything else. So Chuck Schumer, the Senate Majority Leader, was asked about this question today. Take a listen.
Should Senator Menendez be allowed to attend the classified briefing on Israel tomorrow? And do you still stand by your position that he should not resign? You're not calling for
He's not going to attend the briefing tomorrow. Yes.
I
don't get involved in I've had private conversations. I don't get involved in what happened in them on this kind of thing. He's not attending.
How about the corporation?
Next.
No, not next. Not next. Why is he not attending? Why? Why is the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee not attending? I know why, and you know why. It's because this scumbag would sell out America to Israel again, to Egypt again. If anything comes up tomorrow in this briefing regarding Israel, Palestine, Egypt, the Strait of Hormuz, why Egypt is not doing more to allow people to pass through, for example, which is a major point of contention, why Egypt is not doing more to help refugees get through, why Egypt's not taking in Palestinians, for example. All of these questions, they know that scumbag would pick up the phone and call his buddies in Egypt and would sell out America and sell out our allies and sell out our friends. That's the problem. That's why Bob Menendez is so bad. Remember, it's not just about taking the money. Yeah, you know what? There's a whole lot of politicians, particularly in Jersey over the years, and Philly too, who've taken the cash, they've taken the bars of gold. I'm not saying it's okay, but what I'm saying is this guy sold out the United States of America. This guy sold out the United States of America, and he has absolutely no business remaining on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, having access to America's secrets, especially right now as we are dealing with this incredibly pivotal moment in the Middle East that directly involves the country that he was getting bought off by the people that he was helping here, selling out America's secrets and doing what he had to do to help his friends get work in Egypt. That involved making sure that Egypt got whatever money Egypt wanted, regardless of what standards the United States had in place with regards to their human rights record. Bob Menendez is the worst of the worst for that reason. He's a traitor to America. He does not belong on that committee, period. We'll be right back.
Now, you know what company's looking out for you when they actually upgrade your service and don't charge you for it? This is great news, and for new and current Pure Talk customers. Pure Talk just added data to every plan and is including a mobile hotspot with each one, with no price increase whatsoever. Now, if you've considered Pure Talk before but haven't pulled the trigger, take a look again. Just $20 a month for unlimited talk text and now 50% more 5G data plus mobile hotspot. Just $20 a month, folks. This is why I love Pure Talk. That also happens to be veteran-owned and only hires the best customer service team right here in America. Most families are saving almost $1,000 a year while enjoying the most dependable 5G network in America. Dial pound 250 and say Mark Levin to make the switch to Pure Talk, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Again, dial pound 250, say Mark Levin, and make the switch to my cell phone company, Pure Talk, today.
Hey, it's Rhea Hughes. Fall is upon us, and now is the perfect time to head over to Lexus of Cherry Hill for the L-Certified Fall Collection Sales Event. They have over 300 new and L-Certified pre-owned Lexus to choose from. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. For every car sold during October, a donation will be made to Virtua's breast cancer patient and early detection programs. Stop in and see my friend Tony Labello and his team, or visit online at lexusofcherryhill.com. Lexus of Cherry Hill, family owned and operated.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hun, we need to stop putting off getting life insurance.
I know. It's just been so busy, and I'm sure the cost is out of our budget.
Well, Jen told me that they got a $500,000 term life insurance policy from Ethos for less than $23 a month. All online with no complicated forms and no medical exam. All they had to do was answer a few health questions.
Wait, no medical exam and all online?
I know, right? It's not easy to think about, but if something happened to you, James and I would be...
Okay, I get it. Let's get a quote from Ethos right now. Wow, you were right. There's no medical exam, and Ethos makes the whole online process fast and easy. And look at these rates and coverage options. It's great protection and totally fits our budget.
Ethos. They've removed all the barriers from getting coverage. Go to checkethos.com to get your free online quote. That's checkethos.com. Quote based on a healthy, non-smoking 30-year-old male with a 20-year term policy. Rates may vary.
For over 4 decades, Kitchen Magic has been transforming ordinary kitchens into extraordinary spaces. Our dedicated team is at the core of our success, combining expertise and creativity to drive innovation and excellence. We understand that your kitchen is more than just a space. It's where memories are made and cherished for a lifetime. We'll craft a kitchen that truly becomes the heart of your home. Discover the possibilities at kitchenmagic.com today. Now offering no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months on your kitchen remodel.
Our closest ally, Israel, is under attack. American citizens have been killed and taken hostage, and the numbers are growing. Israeli towns are being bombed. Hamas is ruthlessly murdering our friends and allies and their children. Atrocities we've never heard of and seen before. Of course, we have the predictable Hamas wing of the media, the Democrat Party, and, of course, real Hamas activists on our college campuses and so forth. We're in support of these atrocities. When we need true leadership, what does Joe Biden, leader of the free world, do? Well, he's got time to think, tinkering around with some damn legislation, whatever. At Levin TV, at the Blaze TV network, we firmly and unequivocally stand with Israel. And during these troubled times, we will be bringing you uncensored, unfiltered, and factual updates about what is actually happening and how this will affect America, Israel, and the rest of the world. So to stay informed, subscribe to LevinTV.com right now. You can try it for free for 7 days without any risk when you go to LevinTV.com. Again, that's Levin, Levin TV.com. Join us today.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Yeah, I know it's stupid. I just gotta see it for myself. I'm in the corner watching you kiss her. Oh, oh, oh. And I'm right over here. Why can't you see me? Oh, oh, oh. And I'm giving you my all. I'm not the guy you're taking home. Ooh, I keep dancing on my own.
Actually, tonight, the guys I'm going to let take you home are Dan and Anthony. The other side with Big Dan and DiRenzo. They're going to take you home tonight as we get ready for the Phils. Game 2, first pitch at 8:07. Guys.
Thank you, Rich. Fantastic show today, man. Really, just from front to finish. It's always a great show on the Zioli Show. But, Rich, we are live here at Citizens Bank Way, man. Awesome camaraderie, as you can see on the stream, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Give us a like and subscribe. You'll see a huge crowd now here developing. Doors are open. Game time, 8:06. It's a absolutely awesome environment out here, right, Anthony?
Yeah, and there's people actually watching the Flyers. They've started. Everyone's starting to pour into the link for the Mexico-Germany game. And everyone's out here. They'll be live. The block party goes right up until 8. And you can even...
All right, I'm going to get in my car and listen.
Yeah,
you guys have a great show.
I love it, brother. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
All right, boys.
Go Phils. Go Phils. Enjoy the game tonight, Rich. Thank you. Yeah, so, Anthony, we're out here, and it's It's a really awesome environment, and we have some spreads. We have some numbers I want to get into. Right now, we're 1.5-point favorites. Is that fair, you think, or do you think we're just going to wreck them again tonight?
Last night I think obviously the Phillies started hot as it went on. We did. I mean, throughout the entire playoffs, we've let a lot of players sit on base, and I think it was the last 10 runs yesterday before one of those RBIs. The last 10 runs came from solo home runs.
Woo.
And that's, I mean, you don't want to rely on solo home runs. It's nice to have a lineup where you can kind of in the back pocket always possibly get a few of those dingers. But at the same time, I do think it's going to be a tough battle here. Arizona is a good team. They're hot. They're as hot as any team in the MLB this season. It'll still be a struggle, but I think the Phillies are built for this. It'll be another win, in my opinion, and I do think they'll cover here. I think they win by at least 2 runs.
On the mound tonight, Aaron Nola for the Phillies. You at all concerned about his performances?
Not at all.
Yeah, the playoffs, he's been really good.
Yeah, I think he's going to continue to solidify himself. I mean, sitting at a 1.42 ERA right now, 12 strikeouts, everything you want and more from a pitcher like that, and especially in a year like this, for him to not only face the pressure of the playoffs, but to face that personal career adversity. I mean, if he had a bad year this season, he could have been facing a market very, very low compared to what he's now going to see. Like, regardless of what happens moving forward here, Aaron Nola has solidified himself a very, very
so he's got a contract coming up, right? It's
absolutely, and I think the Phillies are going to keep him no matter what. But
pay him whatever he wants.
I mean, his market, definitely, he can pretty much ask them to write whatever number he wants at this point. So
if you're just joining us for the first time, 1210 WPHT, Dan Borowski here of the Dom Giordano program with Anthony DiRenzo. And before every Phillies game, we are out here live on Citizens Bank Way with all the Odyssey stations, WIP right next to us as well. Just having a great time. It's a lot of fun out here. Even if you don't have tickets, we do invite you down here, and we can get you on the stream with Rich, or you can hop on with us at some point. I really liked, just to mix a little bit of politics with sports together real quick. Yesterday, before the game, there was a beautiful moment, right? It was before the game?
It was during the game.
It was during the game.
Yeah.
Okay. They showed Raul Ortiz, who was shot. He was one of the officers shot in the line of duty recently. And he had Nick Castellanos' ring. Is that right?
Yeah, and that was that he was showing it off the way that Casty did with the celebration, putting it out to the crowd. And it was a good moment. I think the Phillies were very much class acts. The crowd in general, too, was very receptive to it. And on top of that, the moment of silence they had before honoring the lost life of the officer. Mm-hmm. So from that to having all the officers walk out the flag, have the flyover, the fireworks, everything. I mean, the spectacle is there, and I think the Phillies, they understand how to help our service members.
It really seems like ever since Middleton's taken over, it's really they've done everything right.
Yeah,
they really have. Yeah. Everything that they can do right, they've gone right.
It's true.
So last night at the game, your Schwarber that comes up just knocks one out of the park.
Yeah.
Then you have 2 batters later, Bryce come up, knock one out of the park. What was it like? Is it the greatest sports moment you've witnessed yourself in person?
It's up there.
Yeah.
It's up there. I'd really have to think about that.
Yeah.
Best moment I've ever seen live. I'd have to think about that one for a little bit.
It's got to be up there because.
But yeah.
It's one of those moments that you'll forever remember, and you're gonna tell your kids about it.
Well,
you're there to see it in person.
That's true. I mean, and it's like when I was a kid, I never even thought I'd ever go to a playoff game, let alone I've gone to a couple this year already. So you're right. I mean, it is something that I'll cherish and really. I mean, why do you think the tickets are so expensive? I think there are a lot of people that grew up in our area that feel that same way. They want to spend the money to do whatever they can to get the hell down here and to root on our Phillies.
$290 cheapest tickets right now that I'm finding.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. We're like, what, an hour to game time, and they're still at 200. So
I can't remember if it was on the stream or if we were on 1210 when we said it, but looking at the Diamondbacks tickets for Game 3 in Arizona.
Yeah, they're like, what, $30 for standing room?
$36,
yeah.
Man. No, not even for standing room. You got a seat at $36. Yeah. Are they even going to sell out the stadium? If you're a player for the Diamondbacks and you come here to Philadelphia and you see the passion that the fans have, it's got to feel like crap going back home and playing in front of your home fans. They
I mean,
can't even fill a stadium in the NLDS.
You could say the same thing about
Or
the
NLCS
Braves.
even.
Maybe that's what killed the Braves' energy. They didn't want to admit we were as good as them, but I mean, come
And
on.
Braves fans like to believe that they're as passionate as we are.
They're not.
No, they're really not.
They're not.
They're nothing compared.
Yeah,
So Philly's now 5-0 at home. A huge home field advantage here at Citizens Bank Park. And what's his name that's pitching right? Merrill Kelly. Merrill Kelly's going to be on the mound for the Diamondbacks. And he had some comments that he made. You would think that you see what happened with Spencer Strider and the fact that the entire city found out about that video that was just a throw-off video where he said he hated fans and didn't want to be playing in front of fans.
Yep, exactly.
So you see that happen, and you see how it inflamed Citizens Bank Park, and people were, they were rabid. They were rabid to see Spencer Strider. This guy comes out and says, what now?
I haven't obviously heard this place on the field, but I would be very surprised if it trumped that Venezuela game down in Miami. When Trey hit that grand slam, at least baseball-wise, I don't think I've ever experienced an atmosphere like that, so I hope it isn't louder than that. Which, first of all, why would you say hope? Second of all, you're mentioning Trey Turner, our player that's going to try to hit a home run off of you. I don't know, man. You're really trying to, are you weirdly trying to motivate us? We're already motivated enough. Very, very...
First off, your name, Merrill, is a really bad name. I apologize if there are any Merrills listening, but Merrill, are your teammates right now laying into you in the clubhouse saying, what the hell are you thinking, dude? Because you just signed up. You signed up for a whooping from our crowd.
Bulletin board material.
Completely bulletin board material. Some more stats to run through. Most homers in Phillies playoff history. 11, Jason Worth. 10, Bryce Harper. Tied now with Chase Utley. I ask again, as
shows you
things...
the power.
It does show you the power, but as things persist and grow, and as we get closer to the World Series, will Bryce Harper be remembered as the greatest Philly of all time?
I mean, he's up there. He's up there. It's hard to say that right now, but he might be. He might be. I mean, this guy's playoffs, the way he hits in the playoffs, if he continues this for a few more years, let alone just this year, he'll be remembered.
Henry, the producer back at the station, just texted us, be wary of Merrill. I didn't even think about it. Merrill Reese is a fantastic announcer. I was thinking of Merrill from The Walking Dead, who's an absolutely terrible human being.
I thought you were being a little facetious with that.
No, I didn't put it together that Merrill Reese. Yeah, Merrill has... It's a great first name. One of the best first names I've ever heard, Merrill. Yeah,
the voice of Philadelphia.
Yeah. He is is Merrill Reese the best announcer?
Yeah.
Is it just because we here have that love for him?
I mean, he just has such passion. I feel like it's hard to find those announcers that have that passion, that drive, and that love for the team and have covered it for that long. It's hard to, but...
Some more historical perspective. 1980 Phillies won the NLCS Game 1. 2008 Phillies won the NLCS Game 1. 2023 Phillies, you just saw it, won the NLCS Game 1. There are a lot of similarities that are happening between this team and the other championship teams.
That's what I mean, man. I think stuff like that, I know it sounds a little cliche or tacky maybe to an extent, but I think there's a reason for it, and it shows that scrappy play is it's paying off for him. It's paying off, and to... I think it's a little bit of, of course it will happen then, of course it'll happen now. It doesn't mean that, but I think showing those stats next to each other and really going back and looking at it, whether it's the home runs or that one you just mentioned, it gives you reason to be excited.
It feels much more real this year than it did last year.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I feel like we are here. And
I feel like we're the best team. Last year I didn't necessarily feel like that.
Yeah. Hey, well, we got to take a quick break. Mark Levin coming up here in a couple minutes, but before then, we'll come back here, give you the starting pitchers and the starting lineups right here at 12 and WPHT as Dan Borowski from the other side with Anthony DiRenzo joins you live from Citizens Bank Way outside the ballpark before Game 2 of the NLCS. See you in a second.
Hi, this is Don Giordano. Are you concerned about your child struggling in school? Do they need more of a challenge? Now's the time to make the call to Kathy Ganna at New Hope Academy in Yardley and Doylestown. 800-300-0003. Let New Hope Academy transform your child's life forever by helping them now. For over 3 decades, New Hope Academy founder Kathy Ganna, a pioneering educator and entrepreneur who created the NHA model, has been utilizing state-of-the-art solutions to uncover ways where your child could avoid struggling and succeed. need. At New Hope Academy, there's a student-teacher ratio of 2-to-1, allowing for students to deal with many disorders, including high anxiety, social and emotional, and including bipolar. Do not wait. Remember, only the best teachers can work at NHA. Call for that no-obligation tour and consultation. 90% of NHA graduates pursue a college education. Call Kathy today, 800-300-0003. Online, newhopeacademy.net. Call New Hope Academy today, 800-300-0003.
Hi, Philly. It's Emmett Smith again. If there's one thing I know about you folks, you're fierce competitors, tough as nails, even when it comes to pushing through aches and joint pain. But you don't have to waste that Philly grit dealing with pain anymore, thanks to QC Kinetics.
Like Emmett said, hand over the pain once and for all to QC Kinetics to get relief in your knees, hips, shoulders, and back without surgery or harmful medications. They use your body's own healing properties right at the source of the nonstop pain, making you feel like yourself again.
Come on now. You don't want a Dallas fella whipping up on you just because of that joint pain holding you back. Nah, this is a personal challenge for me, Emmett Smith. Take care of your business. Get relief from that pain once and for all.
Challenge accepted. Go ahead. Call QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Lose weight and feel great with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into the radio show Sunday at 2 or visit njdiet.com.
Hey, Cherry Hill. We know your favorite station is WPHT. Tell your smart speaker, play 1210 WPHT.
Just wanted you
And we are back live from Citizens Bank Way, right outside the ballpark ahead of Game 2. Dan Borowski here, as we are every time before Phillies home playoff games with Anthony DiRenzo. And before the break, I mentioned that Henry texted me, be wary of Merrill. And I took that as a joke about Merrill Reese being such a respected individual in Philadelphia. I love that guy myself. But no, you're saying actually be wary of Merrill because he's a solid pitcher, right?
Yeah, Merrill Kelly, he's a 35-year-old vet. He hasn't been in the league that long. But I think he knows that his career is dwindling down. He doesn't have that much time left. I think he's going to give it his all tonight. He's an elite road pitcher. He's gone 7-3 on the road. His ERA is very, very low. And he's not a fastball thrower. A lot of the pitchers the Phillies been teeing off on, they're all fastball pitchers. Merrill Kelly's going to throw the sinkers. He's going to keep him in the dirt. He's going to try and force a lot of ground balls. So how the Phillies game plan for him tonight, it's going to be interesting.
I cannot wait to see if we can accomplish this task. But leading off tonight, we got Kyle Schwarber, followed by Trey Turner, Bryce Harper after that, Alec Boehm in the same spot at 4, which is a questionable decision. 5th, Bryson Stott after that, JT Realmuto. Nick Castellanos is in 7th slot, Brandon Marsh again in 8th, and Johan Rojas in 9th is becoming the theme here. And Anthony, you know what? We're out of time for tonight. We're going to hand it up to Mark Levin here. But next home game, which I hope is next round, we'll be talking more about some Philadelphia strategies. And let's see if Topper can get us through. Until then, Mark Levin takes us away. Dan Borowski, 1210 WPHT.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous